Hi, it's Cecilia. So you've just logged in and here you are in the main home screen of GCAI. One of the things that we request that you do is actually create a company profile. And what that does is just like if you were hiring someone to your legal team, you would tell them a little bit about your company, a little bit about your risk tolerance, and really orient them to giving good legal advice. So the way we do that is with a company profile. And it shows up here in your main home screen in the top left. So you click on Create Company Profile and you'll get this pop-up. We do a couple of things that make it easy for you. In this scenario, I'm pretending that I'm in-house at HubSpot, one of my favorite pieces of software. So I'm in-house counsel there and I'm creating the company profile. So I'm going to do www.hubspot.com and the AI is going to actually fill in some information for me. Now I'm going to correct it a little bit and I'm going to make sure that I'm orienting my AI to the right stuff. But let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to hit Auto Generate Profile, and it will pull in information that the AI goes and retrieves. Okay, in this case, my company that I would love to work at, but I'm CEO of GCAI, is HubSpot. So here's HubSpot, and it's explained that HubSpot is a customer relationship management platform. It has 250,000 customers. It's headquartered in Massachusetts. It's a public company. That's helpful. Of course, SEC and other disclosure rules are going to apply differently. So now the AI will know that every time in the background. So you hit continue there, and it's going to ask a series of questions, right? So we're incorporated in Delaware. HubSpot, I believe, has over 5,000 employees. That matters for laws that have thresholds for applying, right? So in the city of San Francisco, if you have under 25 employees, you don't have to do a variety of employment law things. Very similar with other laws. So GCAI will know this every time you ask a question. Our industry, of course, is SaaS, software, and CRM. It's great. Annual revenue, again, this matters for laws like the CCPA or GDPR that have a variety of triggers associated with revenue or turnover or things like that. So let me go ahead and put that in. HubSpot's revenue is over $1 billion in this case. We've got windows that you can choose. Customer type, this is basically aligns with the risk tolerance. So you would fill that in. They sell to small businesses, mid-market. They've got some large enterprise as well. I'm going to hit continue and go to the next step. Sector-specific regulations. You're, of course, in-house counsel for your company. You know your company best. But, when you join a new company, a senior lawyer or the GC might sit down with you and say, hey, we worry a lot about HIPAA here, or we have different laws that apply to us associated with being a broker dealer. Whatever your laws apply to you are, we give you a space to say that. Now, if you don't fill this in, that's okay. Just putting those in will give a little bit more context to the AI. And as you know, our intern, our Anne Hathaway, does really best when you give the AI that context. Okay, so I'm going to say, can spam obviously applies, CCPA, GDPR, CCPA and other state equivalents, GDPR, and AI, the EU AI Act. Great. Significant legal matters. This is something we had a user who was subject to a consent decree, and she said something to the effect of, I don't do a lick of legal work in the building without thinking about that consent decree. So this would be where you would put any kind of special considerations. I don't happen to have any right now for HubSpot, so I'm going to leave that blank. I'm going to hit continue. Risk tolerance. Now, this is where you, as the lawyer for your company, you know this best, right? So I've worked for companies that were super worried and super buttoned up about things. Maybe they sold compliance. I've also worked for companies that were like, hey, I had a CEO one time that was like, hey, is anybody dead or does it affect the cap table? No, okay, I don't care. Now, he deferred to me, which was lovely. But that being said, I would want my in-house advice to be tailored appropriately for how the company's risk appetite works. So I'm going to say, we are a leader and we process a lot of customer data. So we are very buttoned up about privacy. We operate globally and customer trust is paramount, as an example. Additional information, if you're getting acquired, if you have multiple entities, you could put that here. It's just anything you want the AI to know or you would personally want to know when you gave legal advice to your company. In this case, my fictional HubSpot that I would love to work at. Hit continue. There it is. This button, give my teammates read-only access, this is if you're part of a team and you wanted other people to also share that same profile for the company. I typically recommend it. So I'm going to hit create company profile. That'll do that. It'll give you a little indicator the profile was created successfully. And here in the top left, you'll see that I'm now chatting as HubSpot. If you have other companies that you want to create, you can do that. You've got users who maybe you're on the board of a nonprofit, where you've got multiple entities, you can actually specify that. So if you had a European entity and you wanted advice specific to European law, you could do that. So if you see a little running racetrack around here, that means you haven't filled out the profile. So go ahead and do that. GCAI uses the profile for every question and also for features like Easy Prompt, which I've also got a video for. This profile, like anything else in GCAI, your company profile is confidential to you, right? So this is pretty sensitive information about your risk tolerance. GCAI isolates it in your own private secure database so that there's no possibility of that information intermingling. GCAI, of course, is compliant with the state bar guidance in a variety of states. All the states that have opined on the use of generative AI by attorneys have basically said, make sure your data is secure and isolated and not being used for confidential data, not being used for training. So we meet that. So if you're filling this out and you're like, what is this going on here? Rest assured that this is a private account to you. It's very much a kind of Google Docs-like scenario where it's private to an individual, to you by default. All right. Hey, thanks a lot. Super excited about you using GCAI.